agent. According to Ian Rappaport, the 6-time Super Bowl champ is guaranteed to hit free agency with a new deal that voids on the last day of the year. And apparently there's an inability to redo the deal until a calendar year has gone by. As he said today from the Patriots joint practice with the Lions, where he caught up with his old teammate Danny Amendola, it is what it is. Also reunited today in Allen Park, Bill Belichick and Matt Patricia, who both said they liked the opportunity to see their guys go up against someone else for a change.
It gives us a great opportunity to start to begin the process of seeing an opponent, recognizing the adjustments we need to make, making those adjustments quickly, both as coaching staff and as players and in each unit. So this is it's a great opportunity, and especially with Matt and his staff and how well I feel like we can work with them. Certainly it's gone very smooth up to this point, and I expect it to continue.
No joint practices for the Redskins this year, hardly a shocker after last year's fight with the Jets. Also unsurprising, the Redskins depth chart at quarterback, which has Colt McCoy in the number 1 spot for now. The longest tenured quarterback with the team ahead of Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins in that order, though apparently this is very much subject to change.
Yeah, it's early, and I was forced to make it. I wouldn't have made a depth chart right now. There's no reason to. It's silly. But that's for the media and for me to come up and answer these questions. But really, that's all it is. It's words on a piece of paper, names on a piece of paper, and an order that means nothing at this point.
Sam Darnold, the unquestioned quarterback in Florham Park, where the Jets have made 2 moves in the last week to protect him up front, signing Ryan Khalil last Thursday and trading for Alex Lewis today. Joe Douglas trying to put him in the best position to succeed in year 2, which Darnold says already feels very different than year 1.
And going out there and knowing that I can do this. It's not that I didn't know that last year. It's just with this offense, I feel like I already know most of it. So I'm out there, just going out and spinning it. Whereas last year I was still not super comfortable with all the guys and getting in the huddle, feeling timid, and I wasn't really myself. And so I think this year, now that I'm more of, kind of stepping into that leadership role, I guess you could say, I'm definitely a lot more comfortable and confident in myself.
Will we see that on Thursday? We still don't know what Gase plans to do with his starters against the Giants in his first preseason game, but we do know that you'll be able to see it right here on NFL Network. The first of 2 games on our air that night, Cardinals-Chargers, the second at 10 p.m. Eastern. Also that night, Ravens-Jaguars in Baltimore, where both teams practiced today, a joint practice that began with a joint prayer and moment of silence, the 2 teams wanting to honor the victims of the mass shootings in El Paso and Dayton, Ohio. So a somber start to practice. A practice that turned out to be pretty workmanlike in tone. No practice fights here, like we sometimes see in these joint affairs and did elsewhere today, something we'll get to later. It was Lamar Jackson's first time going up against another team's defense in 8 months, and it sounds like it went pretty well. He completed 5 of his first 6 passes in 7-on-7, reportedly looked pretty good. How much can he get out of a joint workout like this, Andrew?
I think these live action reps are huge for Lamar, because one thing he has to make the leap from year 1 to year 2 is his decision making. He wants to be able to see these offenses and defenses and kind of process what's going on quicker, make the right decision, get the ball out of his hand, and really kind of mature into the franchise quarterback that the Ravens need.
So what do we make of the fact that it reportedly went well for him? Can we read too much into that, or is that actually a good thing?
I think it's a good thing, but you still have to take it for what it's worth. That just means he did what he was supposed to do. There wasn't a ton of mistakes made. And I agree with you, Hawk, when you're talking about his decision-making. I think another thing is for the coaching staff to impart confidence in him, to show them that they have the confidence in him, and they could do that with their play calling. Don't have design runs for him. Put some confidence in him in his passing ability and his decision making, and make his runs, because it's human nature. He's going to fall back to what he really believes in, which is athletic ability, and he's better than most at that position. But I think his runs need to become organic. Come organic off the scrambles and making big plays that way, and not have him running quarterback powers and running between the tackles.
You don't want to see that at all? No designed quarterback runs, or just limited?
I'm not saying at all. I think very limited. Pick and choose your spots to make them count. a goal line run, the quarterback run that way, kind of catch a team off guard that way and give him confidence in his passing ability.
I agree, man. I think the best offenses and the best coordinators cater their offense to the personnel they have. There is no way that Lamar Jackson should run an offense the same way Joe Flacco ran an offense. Absolutely. So I think last year, a lot of the design runs and a lot of the running that we've seen Lamar do, it was his default. That's what players do when they're in a situation where they feel like, it's tough to handle and they're coming into their own. So that's what he felt best at, and he ran the ball a lot. For two reasons, that can't be the case this year. One, it's unsustainable in the NFL. You can't have your quarterback taking those kind of hits. And just two, again, to be the quarterback that this franchise needs, he cannot be running the football all over the place. And even as an offense, for them to, again, be able to put points on the board to contend with some, like, teams like the Cleveland Browns, who have a ton of firepower, they have to be able to throw the football down the field, and they just were not able to do that last season.
So how much is his strength as a runner something that you do plan around as an offense? Because this is a guy who was on pace to, if he'd started 16 games last year, we're looking at like 270 rush attempts for him, which is just insane, right? It would have been the second most in the entire league. How much do you scale that back, and how much do you play to your strength? Like, what kind of numbers do you think we should be looking at?
And that's the thing. I don't think there's set numbers for it. I think you continue to, I think when I say organic, that means you call your offense the way it's developing in training camp, the way it's developed in the offseason in the spring, and allow the runs to become organic, and he's going to make a feel for that. There's no substitute for an instinctual football player. That's what separates the greats from just being good.
I think this offense we'll see this year will be very similar to a college-style offense, because I think that's where Lamar Jackson is most comfortable. The coaches realize that. They're all in on it. So there will be design runs. I'm just hoping it's not at the magnitude that it was a year ago.
It's interesting, too. I wonder, as we look at the preseason games that are coming up, how much we're actually going to see of what it is that they plan to do in the regular season. Much like the Cardinals, Yep. They're going to try and keep everything close to the vest, but at a point in time, they also just have to go do what they need to do, right? Isn't that a balancing act?
You're trying to hide it, but you're also at the same time trying to get live reps so that your quarterback is ready when the snaps count. I
think it's important for them to steal early games, so don't look forward to seeing much of it. I think they're going to try and catch some people off guard early on in the season.
It's an interesting point. All right, after the break, does money change a man? Is there additional pressure when you become the highest paid player in the league? Russell Wilson, straight from practice to interrogate